All right, guys, so our next topic here is kicking away from the DC universe and moving into some MCU and I guess some overall Disney news to some degree. We have word that Disney finally, they pulled the trigger on putting Black Widow, most notably Black Widow, direct to Disney Plus. They're doing a day and date release, actually. So they're putting Black Widow both in theaters and on their Premier Access $30 rental fee thing. You know, they call it Premier Access, but it's really a $30 rental. It's called spade a spade. That's all it is. But you'll be able to either go to the theater and watch Black Widow if you can, or like I said, we talked about it before. I think we talked about it last week. Bob Chapek said like he did like a press conference or an interview or something, shareholder meeting, and it was the first time he like made any inkling of the even slightest possibility of Black Widow actually being a Disney Plus release. Before, when asked numerous times, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek themselves both said like, nope, it's going to go to theaters, like it's going to get a theatrical release, blah blah blah. But last week, he made some offhand comments that definitely seemed to have. I mean, I said like he definitely gave an indication that they're considering friggin' putting this thing on Disney Plus at this point. I can totally tell. And then next week, we get the confirmation. So that's coming to Disney Plus. It's not the only thing. I guess Cruella is as well doing the day and date release thing in theaters. I don't know if I can't remember if anything else was, because most notably, it was Black Widow. That's the biggest news of it, in my opinion. So I don't know what, John. I know you're between all three of us here. You are the most theater going person, I guess we'll say that. You're the biggest theater goer. You enjoy the theatrical experience more, I'd say, than Rick and I. Not that, you know, we don't enjoy the theatrical experience by any means, but I typically go like for like the movies I'm super duper interested in. Like I would obviously like your Godzilla versus Kongs, you know, your big boy blockbuster movies, like that's the stuff that I like. I like going to theaters for that stuff. Sure. You know, more so than anything. Like I can watch a comedy movie or anything like that. Like I don't need the extra expense, in all honesty. You know, you see what I buy, okay? You see what I buy. This is in the beginning of this video. I buy these stupid toys that cost more than the freaking movie ticket, so I can't. I got spare money where I can. You know what I mean? True. But John, what do you think about this? You know, does this upset you? You happy about this? You still going to see it in theaters? What's your take on this?
Yeah, I need to log into my movie account because I've got a membership account, a monthly membership account, see if the Black Widow's ticket I pre-purchased 2 years ago is just going to be rolled over into the new opening day one, or if I need to purchase a new one. But yeah, no, I'll be there, you know, for the first show, at the first showing, whenever, July 9th, I guess, as the date now. You know, if that holds, I'll be there for that. I was really worried they would do Premiere Access and not a theatrical release, and that was going to upset me because I don't want to see it on my TV at home first. I want to go to the theater and see it first, but I also am going to see it whenever it comes out first because I don't want to be spoiled about anything. So, you know, if they would have removed the theatrical component, then I would have been forced to do the $30 rental. And that's the other thing that bugs me about it too, is like, I understand the financials of it. I think we may have even talked about this last week. You know, $30 for a family of 5 or 6 or 7 or even 4 is like a steal when it comes to seeing a movie. But for an individual, for like a single person that, you know, I have somebody else I could, you know, my fiance would watch it with me, I'm guessing, that she will end up watching it with me. So yeah, and maybe that gets us down to the cost of a movie ticket each, but it just, you get more bang for your buck with the more people, the more eyeballs you're putting in front of it for that $30. So I didn't want to pay $30 for the home viewing experience. I wanted to pay my, you know, I'll throw down my $20 and go see it at the theater. And then I'll come home and I'll probably spend another 30 because I love the Marvel movies and I won't want to give up not being able to watch it for 2 months or 3 months until they bring it back to Disney Plus regular.
I hear you. And I brought up just for your viewing pleasure, your May 2020 release date poster here.
Yep.
So we got that going
on.
I
had my ticket, everything. I had my seat picked out. Like I was excited, man.
So did they didn't refund you for it?
Oh, I'm sure they did. That was a joke, man. I was,
Oh,
I
okay, I was
was,
gonna say, that'd be really
I guess the
weird.
sarcasm, I didn't layer the sarcasm on enough, but no, that was a joke. I'm sure they refunded. I'm sure that I have to figure out when they go on sale and get my early ticket as soon as possible, so I get the seat that I want. It's even harder to get the seats you want now in the times of COVID because they're,
Yeah.
spacing the seats out more and stuff. So you really got to be on the ball.
Dude, I've said
Yeah.
it before. I hope that they take, especially with planes, okay, like airplanes especially. I hope like post pandemic that some things remain a thing, okay? Like we don't need to be elbow to elbow with people we don't know and play. Like give
God,
us some
no.
room in between people. Like airplanes especially, dude. You fly economy, like just don't. I've literally the
awful.
last few times I've flown, I've paid the extra money to go first class, and I'm not a rich man, like at all. But dude, after I flew to Italy in economy, it's the worst
I flew to
decision
Germany
I
in
ever
economy
made.
and back, and it was
It's
fucking awful.
terrible, dude. You got like a smart car would have substantially more leg room than they give you on airplanes.
I was stuck for like 10 hours, 10 and a half hours. Just it was
Dude, it's
terrible.
miserable. Like the flight to Italy was over 12 hours long, I think, and it was brutal, man. Like it was brutal. So literally the next flight I did was only like a 2-3 hour flight, but I got the first class tickets. I didn't care. I was like, I'm not doing that again. But I just hope that some things stick, man. We don't need, because the weird thing is with airplanes, this is now airplane talk. They used to be a luxury thing. They were like an experiential event, kind of like movies.
Yeah.
Like go look up like old pictures of airplanes. They had like couches and stuff, and like it was like an experience. Like it was a good thing. But then they, capitalism took effect over everything. They're like, we could just throw all these seats and get as many people on the plane, charge much money as
Yeah.
we can. And that's all it
Sacrifice
is.
comfort.
Yeah, that's literally all it was. Like obviously they can make more money if they can cram more people on the flight. But still, just get rid of a seat or two, and then you're good. Move up like a foot. You lose some seats, but if you can't even fit all the people in, if you can get through the pandemic when you have to reduce your seating to like 25%, like theaters can, you can get rid of a couple seats to have a better experience for your people. I mean, that's what the movie theaters have done lately. Like AMC put in the recliner seats and all that stuff. Like they're making the experience better for the consumer. And that's what's that's what's keeping movie theaters afloat. Like if it was the same it
For
used to
sure.
be, that's how movie theaters used to be. And there's still some theaters out there who don't have the whole luxury experience. And I don't know anybody who would go to one, like if they had the option to drive the same distance, and like imagine two movie theaters are next door to each other. One of them is like an AMC with recliner seats, and the other one's just like your old school theater with the little flip down seat. Like everybody's gonna go to the recliner one. Like it's
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? Like I don't know anybody who wouldn't choose the better experience. So I just,
For sure. Yeah.
that's my tangent on like there are some things that could come out of COVID. Okay, like just not being elbow to elbow with a bunch of people. Like that's pretty much it. Like that better experience is going out there. Because I think I haven't been to one of these reduced theaters experiences here. I haven't had a COVID movie theater experience, but I feel like it's probably pretty nice going in there and like not having like 100 people, only having like 25 people. It's just
Yeah.
like a nice little thing. Depending, I don't know, it might be better.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's also like have I gone? Well, so I went last summer, like in the height of the pandemic when everything was shut down. Like as soon as theaters started opening up, they were opening up to people to they were doing runs of old movies. And I went to a triple feature of Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, all back to back to back on the IMAX. And I was the only one in the theater for Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises. So, and then there were a handful of people that came to see The Dark Knight, and the first and last ones were phenomenal experiences. There's nothing like having your own private showing on the IMAX of your favorite movies. But the middle one, I have to admit, like at the height of the pandemic, I'm like, there's that twinge of nervousness, like, oh shit, what am I doing? Like, am I gonna get sick? Am I gonna get somebody sick because I came and saw this stupid movie? Like, so there is that in the back of your head. I think that's kind of I got some of that went away when I went to see Wonder Woman because I knew how they were spreading people out, how and the theaters aren't as packed. I felt like I had more chance going to the grocery store of picking something up. So,
yeah.
it went away to a certain extent, but it is nice. It is nice having that separation in your own personal. Plus, you also don't have to run the risk of having some jerk on their cell phone next to you, or just down in front of
Exactly.
you, because they're also pushes the jerks away from you somewhat too.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. That's what more I was getting at, because like every once in a while, especially because it's kind of a give and take. Because I know a lot of people, like when you go and you see Endgame in a packed theater, and then you have that Cap getting Mjolnir moment, and then everybody freaking cheers and loses their mind. Like that's a good experience. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you don't need like 600 people, 100 people, however big your theater is, all cheering. Like if you only had 100 people in there instead of 500, that's still an experiential event you're having with other people. Like, and it's it's like, I don't know. I like having things a little. I like having a little bit of
I
privacy.
like my personal space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't want to completely lose out, and like, I don't know, because like you said, it's cool to have a private theater. I remember the only time I've ever been completely alone in a theater was when I went and saw Talladega Nights.
Heh.
Right, we're only people. I was the only people there. I didn't really care for the movie either, but
Nah.
so it wasn't like a cool viewing experience. It was just like, well, I can see why nobody's here.
You're
That
right.
was more or
There
less
was
my experience.
there was something I saw recently, and I don't know if it was a joke or not because I didn't really like click through to see what it was about. But like somebody posted a thing in, I think, a Star Wars, maybe it was a Facebook group or an Instagram thing I was looking at. But like there's a design there. They said that there's a design out there that basically movie theaters are going to be redesigned to look like the Senate, with like from the Star
I
Wars
saw
movies
that.
with little pods that you
Yeah,
will sit in instead of like rows. You'll have your own little pod that you go into.
I saw that.
And
Yeah.
they compared it to the Senate and the Star Wars Phantom, or
I
this
am the
prequel
Senate.
trilogy.
yeah, that'd actually be cool. Because there were those one theaters. I think they called them like iMovie or something. They had a couple theaters, and like you'd go in and you had like your own little bubble, and you could like they had like a bed kind of thing you could even lay on, and like just
I
like
could see that getting messy.
yeah, you could pull up like they had this little like sheet thing you could pull. It was like a little dome that just went over your seating area, so you had
So
like
people couldn't see you
privacy.
making out.
Yeah, like I don't know. Definitely would need to make sure the seats were clean and all that stuff. But like, I don't think it was like that. Like you could still see like people there. It's not like a complete privacy thing. Either way, John, your cam froze on us again, bud. But either way, I'm looking forward to the Black Widow thing. I probably will. Just given the circumstances right now, I'll probably catch it on Disney Plus first. I don't know. I really haven't decided. So either way, guys, let us know what you think about this down in the comment section below. Are you going to watch the premiere access version of Black Widow, or are you going to be trying to get a ticket in theater? Because as we said, the theater's doing reduced capacity now. I think they're only doing like 25% for a movie like this. I've heard that in most places, like especially even like LA and New York, theater tickets have been selling out very quickly. And for these more popular movies, when you have only 25% capacity, they're going to sell out even quicker. Because these are the ones that, like I said, this is a movie that I would typically go and see. I just don't know if I feel like really going out and doing all that right now still, just in the kind of current climate. But either way, let us know what you're going to do down in the comment section below.